This is a story of a man who had nothing to lose and everything to gain. Follow his story and maybe it will inspire you. My name is Mark Loss. I was a 60-year-old man with no private pension, no savings, a tiny investment portfolio, and no job. I have been looking for a job for more than 5 years, only to find that as soon as I get an interview, they take one look at me, and from the expression on their face, I already know that they will not hire me because of my age. Do not get me wrong. I have decades of experience, and great experience at that. The positions I apply for are not only high tier, they are medium and low tier roles, which lead to questions about how do you feel taking instructions from a manager half your age. These types of questions are not said out loud, but they are weaved into the interview process to find out what type of reaction they get. There are many instances where I have been interviewed successfully only to find out that it was a box-ticking exercise so that human resources can say, yes, we do have an open policy for all applications, even though this is not the case. The irony of this story is that many decades ago I started investing in myself by accident. Here is what happened. To give you context of my background, I was homeless for the early part of my teens due to being in a number of care institutions, not because of anything I had done wrong, but only as chance would have it. Having been neglected, I entered the care system in my early teens. Once there, things were very different. The treatment I received was far better and more loving, I thought, than that from which I came, which is sad to say, but that's a story for another time. Having left the care system at 17, I was put into a halfway house, which basically means you now have to learn to fend for yourself. There was very little or basically no financial guidance as to how to deal with money. For me, however, I had some idea, as during the summer and winter breaks I worked in a public house as a bottle washer and stacker, as a builder's mate and running a paper round route. All of these brought in experience and income. It's funny because on my 19th birthday, I got a card that was signed to my most valued brother. I thought that was strange, but the story only gets better, so stay with me. I worked at a fast food place, and all of my peers were telling me that I was crazy and should stay on at school to get more qualifications than go to college. I am still to this day so glad that I did not listen to them, as I just wanted to get out into the big wild world and become self-sufficient with learning new skills and becoming a contributor to the economy. What I did not realize is that the deck was stacked against me from the start, with average skills. Began looking at career paths. Back at school there were events called careers guidance. To me these provided very little value, and did not provide me with any real information, but going forward I am only going to concentrate on the economics side. Interestingly enough, at school they taught economics, profit and loss, business, investing, but to me a lot of it went into one ear and out of the other, as there were no discussion groups, just a teacher reading from a textbook. So where are we? Sorry about the ramble. Oh yes, the fast food place. As I managed to save some coin for further skills education, I decided to take typing classes for this. I was seriously mocked by my friends, as they would say typing is for girls. Anyway, let's continue. I used my typing skills to become a VDU operator, which stands for Visual Display Unit Operator. Basically, it was data entry. From there, I progressed into messaging operator role, which is another form of data input or data entry type role. I continued to do these roles while still working at the fast food joint on weekends. So I now had steady income, although there were several months that I was late for rent, but that's another story which I won't share here. Fast forward a few years, and I am now working as an engineer, then a consultant. I realized from my data entry days that I could make a lot more money as a temp than working as a full-time employee. This completely changed my way of financial thinking. I would work on contract roles for 3 months and make the equivalent to what the permies were making in a full year. This in itself was where I put the pedal to the metal and went full force forward. I began to save all my excess earnings, but I did not know what to do with it yet. Faster than I thought, I started to set monetary goals. But I underestimated my value and exceeded my financial goals faster than my financial set goals. At this point, it was the 90s, and everyone and their mother, it seems, were buying properties, so I thought, okay, I will buy one too. What I did not realize is that I could negotiate the price down with the seller via the estate agent, but having so much capital and looking at properties, I found one and put in the offer at full asking price, which was accepted. The estate agent's face was one of shock, but I could not care less. I remember the first Christmas I moved in, felt so lonely. Looking back, I had obliterated all my goals that I set myself, and now having done that, I found that there was little left for me to do except continue to work hard, pay off my mortgage, and then decide what to do. My family was happy for me, saying, "What do I give you as you now have everything? The car, the house, the dream job." On the surface this looked fine, but life has a way of throwing curveballs. If you want to know what happened next, drop a comment and consider subscribing. It really helps the channel grow. Money matters because your financial education is extremely important. Remember to ring the bell and turn on notifications so you get the next episode of this story.